Has a tax preparer made a mistake that cost you money on your return? How do you report your tax preparer to the IRS? How do you file a complaint against a tax professional for doing something wrong on your return, like putting up an amount that you didn't actually tell them about as a deduction, or not actually filing your return or taking part of your refund? For all of these things, you need to fill out a return preparer complaint with the IRS, and we'll talk about other steps you need to take as well in this video, including a few more examples so that you know exactly when you should be filing this form and taking this type of action. If you're new here, my name's Amanda. You're watching The Business Finance Coach, where I simplify these types of technicalities to help you succeed, because I truly believe that the world needs what you have to offer. I give away free spreadsheet templates and training for business, which you can check out in the description below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing while still watching this video. Now let's jump back into how to report a tax pro and file a complaint against them using this form, return preparer complaint. So I'll have this linked below in the description. This is the IRS page about filing a complaint. So if someone filed a 1040 without you knowing, if they altered any of your documents, if they filed a return without having your W-2, and such as using a pay stub, or they made up deduction amounts, or they created false exemptions or dependents, they did any of these types of things, omitted income you gave them so that you had a larger refund amount, creating false expenses, deductions, or misdirecting your refund to their account. Or if you're a tax return preparer and you think someone else is using your PTIN, all of these are reasons to file a complaint about a tax preparer with the IRS. Now, there are two situations. You may have received a notice from the IRS auditing your return, asking for proof of a deduction, and that's when you realized what's happened, or some other situation with the IRS contacting you. In this situation, you're going to fill out the form we're going to go over, Form 14157, but if it affected the amount of tax you pay, and often it would, then you are also going to fill out Form 14157-A, which I'll be showing you as well. And you can see them both linked here. In this first scenario, you want to send those forms back to the address on the letter you received about this issue. If you did not receive a letter from the IRS, then you want to fill out Form 14157. If the amount affected your taxes, you'll do the A form as well, and you'll mail these to where you file your 1040. So when you click that link, you'll see a list of your states. You can select your state, and that's where you're going to mail these forms. Okay, so here we are back on the form Return Preparer Complaint. In this section A, you want to put information about your preparer. If you look at your 1040 at the bottom, you can see paid preparer use only in this bottom section, and this is where they should have filled out their information. This is where you can get their PTIN number over here on the right and their general information. If they didn't fill this out, you may need to go based on whatever contact information you have for them, or you have online or in email communication. And so you want to fill this out as best you can. Select whether they're an attorney, an EA, enrolled agent, CPA, payroll service provider. That would be someone like the one I recommend, Gusto. Or if you don't know, you can check this box. Section B, this is about your complaint. Okay, so you want to say the tax periods impacted, which is generally going to be the tax year that your return was for. Did you pay a fee? Yes or no, and the amount. How did you pay the fee? Was it deducted from your return, credit card, check, etc.? Then you want to check the specific scenario or other and explain below. Be careful with using other, because just because they made a mistake doesn't mean that you would file this form. This form is for real misconduct. There's a lot of reasons mistakes can occur, and I'd recommend checking out my other video, 5 tips to make taxes less stressful if you're just frustrated with your tax professional and maybe there was some miscommunication about something, but it's not actually kind of negligence like this and what we're covering here on this form. So for all of these situations, you need to check the one that applies or other. Now, if you scroll down on this form, the instructions follow, and you can see that they've laid out more details down here for each of those options. So theft of refund means that they somehow took some of your refund. Typically this occurs because they diverted your refund to their account, and that's illegal. They can't do that. They may have done something like cash advance, so they're giving you the money up front before your return's been processed. And you can see if they failed to explain that and how it worked, then that is also a reason to file this form. If they filed a copy of your return with the IRS that was different from yours, you most likely are going to need to use the IRS transcript request to see a copy of that return. Might happen if the IRS is auditing you and you're like, that's not what I filed. But you do want to be careful with that one because the IRS can't auto-correct your return if you didn't report something like a 1099. So just because your refund or an amount is different doesn't instantly mean that the preparer filed a different return. So you can read through these. I already hit on the main points, but you can read through these to see exactly which one applies the most to your situation. You can also post questions in the comments below. You can see if you're a return preparer and you think someone's using your PTIN, that's the return preparer self-reported event. And then other, if none of those above describe, you can take a few sentences to write out what that other situation is. Some examples of other tax return preparer misconduct or improper tax preparation practices include, but are not limited to, fee disputes and bad behavior, such as them threatening you. All you do next is provide the facts and information about your complaint and the situation. You can attach an additional sheet if necessary. Be sure to put your name and tax ID number, social security number on the pages so they don't get lost. Are you the taxpayer? If yes, check here and then put in your information and continue to fill out your information down here. And that's all. Now they have an address here if the 2 situations I covered, which are going to be most common, if they don't apply, then you're going to go ahead and mail to this address. Now the other form, if this affects the amount that you're actually paying in taxes, you can fill this out as well. All you're going to do is put in your personal information, check what applies based on your situation, the year that is applicable or years, and then just answer these other questions. They're just basic questions about the situation that we've already really covered in the other form. But then you're going to detail your fee amount and also describe the situation. Then sign, include your phone number so they can contact you, and you'll just include this with the other form. So that's it for how to report a tax preparer to the IRS using this form 14157. I'm really sorry you had a situation like this happen to you. Do check out my other video for tips, and you may see other videos that might apply to your situation linked on the screen right now as well. Again, you can find all the links I've covered in this video in the description below. Consider subscribing, liking, sharing, or comment below. I'd love to hear from you and see you in the next video. Bye.